Welcome to Synagogues of England, Part 19. This is our fifth look at the Jewish houses of worship in the London area. Our first stop is the Ealing Liberal Synagogue. Shabbat services are held every Friday evening and on the fourth Saturday morning of the month. Janet Burden is its rabbi. There are also religious school classes on Saturday mornings only. Here is a look at the main sanctuary. We've shifted over to the East London Central Synagogue, also known as the Nelson Street Synagogue. As one can see, this is not such a great area anymore for Jews. In fact, it is advertised as possibly the one remaining synagogue in the area. A date on the building indicates that the structure was erected in 1923. The congregation was originally known as the Nelson Street Sephardic Synagogue, also known as Or HaChaim de Bnei Berdichev. Over the years, several congregations merged into this. By 1952, the Belzers and the Berdichevers and the Burr Street Synagogue. In the early 1970s, it was the Cannon Street Road Synagogue. In 1968, possibly, it was the Commercial Road Great Synagogue. Around 1949, there was the Grove Street Great Synagogue. Around 1967, the Jubilee Street Zionist Synagogue. And 1974, the New Road Synagogue. After 1956, the Philpott Street Great Synagogue and Sephardic Synagogues. And in 1952, also the Sons of Britchin and the Romanian Sydney Street Synagogues. The camera has shifted over to Newbury Park in the Ilford area, which is in northeast London. We're looking at the general area of the Ohel David Ilford congregation. The overhead shot shows why we can't see it from the main street. It's behind the buildings where the retail shops are located. This is the last of the remaining of a group called the Eastern Jewry Community Synagogues. Others of its ilk were the Jacob Benjamin Elias Synagogue, also known as the Gan Eden Hall congregation. There was the Ohel David Eastern Synagogue, at one time known as the Lincoln Institute Synagogue, and the Chevra Shas Synagogue. That group was started in 1955. This congregation, the Ilford congregation, was formed after 1966, and its practice is Sephardi. One will notice that the camera shows two kosher restaurants. We believe that this area is also known as the Golders Green. We move over to the Edgware area where we have several synagogues to view. The first one is the Edgware United Synagogue, meaning that it belongs to the United Orthodox group. Services are hosted on a daily basis, both morning and evenings. Its rabbi for about 10 years is David Lister. He has an assistant, Rabbi Ben Kurzer, and there is also a cantor for the congregation, Yossi Schwartz. The congregation started informally in the late 1920s. By 1934, it was able to acquire land and dedicated a synagogue. But it moved into the location shown here in 1957. Here is a drive-up look to the building as close as possible we can get. And here is Edgware Adath Yisrael congregation, also Orthodox, but not affiliated with the United Orthodox group. It also offers full services on a daily basis. By the way, Edgware is located in northwest London. Its rabbi since 1990 is Tzvi Hirsch Lieberman. It indicates that he was born in Chicago in 1960, where his father was then a communal rav and head of the local Orthodox Jewish day school. Well, we were a youngster in Chicago in 1960. There was more than one Orthodox Jewish day school, and we're not aware of a Rabbi Lieberman, but have no doubt that the general premise is true. The congregation also has a Sephardi minyan led by Rabbi Daniel Karp, and a Shabbos Hashkama, or early morning minyan, led by Rabbi Chaim Venit. Here is a look at what's called the Edgware and Hendon Reform Synagogue, also known as Edgware and District Reform Synagogue. That's because in December of 2016, the two congregations merged together, the Hendon Reform and the Edgware and District Reform synagogues. Shabbat services are held both Friday evenings and Saturday mornings. There are other various types of services held on Shabbat, and there is also a Sunday morning abbreviated service. Well, there are 4 rabbis associated with this congregation. The senior minister is Daniel Smith, who has been with the congregation since 1993. There is also a Stephen Katz, a Neil Kraft, and an Emily German. The Edgware and District Reform Synagogue was formed in the mid-1930s. The Hendon Reform Synagogue was founded in 1949. Here is an overhead shot of the Edgware Masorti congregation. It appears to be located at the end of a back alley. The congregation was formed in 1984 by 10 families and it moved to this location in 1996. Services are held on Friday evenings and Saturday mornings for Shabbat. Its spiritual leader is Rabbi Michael Evan David. Masorti in the past has typically been translated in English as traditional, which would put it just a step above conservative. This congregation gives women full and equal rights in service participation. Here is supposedly the home of the Or HaChaim Synagogue, or the Edgware Sephardi community. We believe it was established in the past 10 years. And their Rabbi Israel Malul has been its rabbi since at least 2015. And the last stop on our tour is the Edgware Torah Center, and it is led by Rabbi Godlewski. It has services on a daily basis and stresses Torah education. It was established around 2004, the building shown here possibly around 2013. By the way, Rafael Godlewski had not been the rabbi since its inception, but possibly starting a couple years afterwards. We conclude this episode of our continuing tour of Jewish houses of worship in the London area. More to follow, so bye for now and see you soon.